So to be precise, like they are the number one cloud providers now. So AWS offers like 175 fully featured service. Fully featured service in the sense it's like the managed service. They manage like completely the service like end to end. So you don't have to worry about the service. Like they adopt the service and they provide you like complete support for the service. So they have like up to date. Like today it is like 175 fully featured services, which consist of compute, storage, networking, database, analytics, load balancing, content delivery. So these type of services are available with them. So they work like they provide the services throughout the world with like 77 availability zones across like 24 geographical locations. So geographical location in the sense like they have like multiple locations in a country. So mostly in US, there are like most number of regions are available. So availability zones are nothing but they have many availability zone in particular region. This is for like mainly for application redundancy and disaster recovery. So when you launch your application or your service in a particular zone, like every zone is like located 40 miles apart from them, and every geographical location is like located at least 400 miles apart from one another. So when there is a disaster situation or like uh, power shortage or some other natural calamity. So at that time, they will be like providing the service without any hurdles throughout through means by this availability zone. So it is always better to launch your services like in two availability zones so that you will not be affected in any of the natural calamity situations. So apart from this, like AWS is like trusted by millions of active customers. It starts from like from a low end startup to an worldwide known enterprise such as like Apple, Google. So uh, let's say main marketing strategy, the cost. So what you use, you have to pay for that. You're not going to pay for like more than that. Like you can pay for whatever you use. So that is what AWS like best marketing strategy, and also they have win the race with that. So when you see benefits of learning AWS professionally, so because most of them will know like will have a question I mean will have a question like why we have to go with AWS. So we have like major other cloud providers like Google and Microsoft. Why can't we adopt them, and why we have to go with AWS? So in current market strategy, AWS is the number one cloud provider. Also, not only in the terms of service they provide, and also the revenue what they show. So this chart shows the first quarter graph for 2019. So where you can see AWS is being like number one in this. So AWS started their career. I mean, they have started their business in services upfront or when you compare to others like Microsoft or Google. So for continuous 7 years, I think like no other company has done this. For continuous 7 years, they are being in the head start position. Like they are in the number one position. No other cloud providers can like compete with them or like grow their market as how AWS has grown this. So because of this, like because of their gradual growth rate, so their business like they are providing plenty of opportunities of employment. If you take in India as well, they are going to provide like 20,000 or 30,000 of employment this year. They have launched their one of their head office in Hyderabad. So that is going to open a large scale employment for us. So the recruitment for this employment will be based on the AWS certifications. If you are going to like if you are going for an interview in AWS or for any AWS position in any other concerns on any other startup, so you need a AWS certification. So that is where this employment opens up. So why this happens? Like why actually AWS is growing in this much great scale? Is because of like you can I mean we can say many of them like worldwide AWS is adapted gradually cloud migration. So yeah, most of the like major enterprises are trying to move their application into cloud because of the flexibility and the reduction in cost which actually cloud provides to the customer. They are planning to move that, and that is why there has been a like gradual growth in this. So automatically, when customer decides to come to a cloud platform, they want the number one provider to handle their application and provide their services to customers. So that is why they are choosing AWS. So that is when AWS comes into picture, and it is like keeping its position on the number one position for past 7 years. So let's see about like how it performs in the market. How actually in the last slide we saw about like exactly how much in terms of revenue it is like in which position, and now we are going to see in like what is the market share value of AWS currently in 2020. So as I told, they are keeping their head start over competitors like Microsoft Azure and Cloud for like past 7 years, which is incredible for them. And then in 2020, like there has been a gradual growth for them in market shares. Until 2020, it is expected to have like 52% while comparing with Azure or Cloud, where Azure has a cloud market of 21% and Google has it like 18%. But Amazon is like growing like 52%. They have the cloud providers market. So there is no doubt in like upcoming years there are not going to be like any downfall for AWS. They are going to continue in this same situation. So if you are going to start with AWS, this is the correct time for you to start with, and you can easily find opportunities for growing along with AWS. This is like a small source collection from Glassdoor, where it actually says salary in particular for AWS cloud administrators. So where AWS professional certificate is like keep on increasing every year, which also indirectly contribute to this AWS growth, like market growth. So the market for AWS is expected to reach like 236 billion by 2020, and there like it is going to, as I told, it is going to like create more than 380,000 cloud computing jobs available around the world. So the average salary for a cloud administrator in US is like 60, like starts from minimum 63K per year to like maximum of 135K per year. So it depends upon like how you develop your skills and what level of certification and knowledge you have around the AWS services. So this I just want to show up to the participants about this, because like there will be an idea like where I will be standing in the market after completing this AWS certification or training course, like how it is going to grow my professional career, or like professional in terms of my pay scale. So just want to throw this and show you the source from Glassdoor. So let's now move on to like actual course content, like what you will be learning, like what you will be becoming after like completing this training, what you'll be having in your hand. So this will be like we will be getting you the cloud computing concepts, basics of AWS in the sense like we will be covering almost the basic services of AWS, like compute, networking, database, identity management. So these type of basic services will be covered in this training, and also the fundamental system, how cloud is working. So what are the building blocks of cloud? So we'll be covering the fundamental system of that, and develop and hands-on using AWS web services. Like say we will be providing some practicals, like practical in the sense lab exercises. So you have to build an high availability architecture, or you have to build a architecture with relational database, and in some exercises like creating rules or creating policies where only certain person can access certain storage buckets or applications. So this will be like some hands-on skills provided to you, so you can do that and expertise yourself. And we will also be having AWS fundamental concepts, including like region, availability zone, and virtual private clouds. So these are like very basic infrastructure, like how the cloud is actually built upon. So we'll be seeing about that. Also, as I told you, we'll be talking about compute, storage, database, and security services via AWS console as well as like CLI. So there are like multiple options to do that. We will be discussing about them. And finally, as you know, we are not going to host a server or service or get a service for like hosting only an OS or like the basic infrastructure. We need an application to put upon it. So when we put an application put upon it, like we have to decide about the high availability of the application, also like how it is distributed. So these type of things will be also will be part of your hands-on labs. So you can get familiarized with like how you are going to install an application and make it highly available. Yeah, this will be the thing we'll be covering. So this is a in short overview of the course content. So what services we'll be looking upon, like this is like highly overview where you are getting like identity management, identity access management, S3 like for storage, EC2 and EBS, auto scaling, ELB, and CloudWatch is a monitoring service which actually AWS provides to us. And VPC is the basic network component, like a basic network service, inside which we have like subnets, we have internet gateways, NAT gateways, we have like transit gateways. So these type of things we will be seeing in VPC. So database, I think most of you will be familiar about database. Databases like relational databases are the main core database which AWS deals with. So they have multiple flavor in that like Aurora, SQL, MariaDB. So all these DBs will be covered. So you can install and see. Route 53 is a CDN, like content delivery component. Usually you would have heard about GoDaddy or like a hosting provider. So AWS hosting provider is Route 53. It will also have the content delivery CDN, which is actually called Cloud Sense service in AWS. We'll be covering that as well. So a few additional key services, which means like the supportive services for this. So when you see these services or the basic services and additional key services will be like supporting services which will work along with these services. For an example, if you want to see like a security service, identity and access management is the basic security service, and the supportive security service which AWS provides for security is like Amazon Guard Duty, you can say like Amazon Maze, you can say. So there are like few supportive services. So those will be covered with the additional key services. As we have seen the course content overview, let's look upon, let's start up with a small introduction for compute service. So as we are jumping into the course, so we can see the EC2 service first. So what is EC2, like what is compute service? It is a web service which provides like a resizable compute capacity in the cloud. So you can say the name itself, EC2, is like Elastic Cloud Computing. The name itself explains what it actually means. So Elastic Cloud Computing is like you can scale down the compute of the system compute in the sense that basically you can take an example of a CPU. Let's say you have two CPU for a machine, like for an instance or a virtual machine. So if you want to increase the CPU of the machine because of the application performance, or let's say you are going to add up another application to the same instance, so that needs some space to perform, right? So when you want that, so you need to increase the compute of the system. So what you will do is like you can for other virtual machines you have to do like stop the machine and do the changes, but for Elastic Cloud Computing in Amazon, you can like simply like scale up the CPU of the instance, and whenever you don't need, like you can scale down the CPU or memory of the instance. So that is what is covered in Elastic Cloud Computing. And these are the supportive service like which I told for Elastic Computing. So Elastic Beanstalk is a really application-oriented service where you have to deploy your application without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. So the infrastructure will be totally managed by AWS. Let's say you are going to tell like I need this many CPU and this much memory instances, like 4 instances or 5 instances. So that will be taken care by AWS support, like managed services, and you will be able to host your application without worrying about the infrastructure. So Elastic, and next one is like Elastic Load Balancing. Elastic Load Balancing is a balancer service which actually AWS provides. As you know, like how important a load balancing for application in terms of like highly available application. So when you want to manage your application over a distributed instances, let's say it will be instance A will be in one availability zone and instance B will be in another availability zone, so that if there will be application dependency and highly available application provided to you through this. So elastic load balancing, yeah. So that is what it does. Like it distributes the traffic between like multiple instances as you know. So next one is auto scaling, AWS auto scaling. As the name suggests, it helps us to like increase, like auto scale your application, as I told, scaling up and scaling down whenever it is needed. So let's take a situation or scenario here. When you have an application which is hosted in cloud and users start keeping the application. Let's say it is a holiday season sale or a like big billion day. So when actually you are expecting high amount of traffic to the site, say normally you have 1,000 users for the site, and on a big billion day you are expecting 10,000 users for the site. So at the time, like for you don't want to procure like 10 plus servers or 20 plus servers to accommodate the traffic for your application. So you can directly do some configuration changes for your application through auto scaling, so that whenever there is like let's say a single instance is running and the CPU like the traffic is coming above like 80% and the CPU is consumed over than 80%, automatically the auto scaling configuration will scale up the application, like application instance. So the one number of instance will be scaled up to like 2, 3, 4. So it will be keep on going until like what you have given as a maximum configuration, maximum number of instance which this group can scale. So it will be taking that and it will be scaling up your application to serve the incoming traffic without any glitch or any friction. So in the same way, so once the sale is over, let's say that tomorrow you are expecting the traffic to be reducing step by step. Let's say 10,000 users are coming down to 9,000, 8,000 or 7,000. At that time, so same way, when 10 instances are running and 10 instances are listening with like 80% of CPU and using 80% of memory, when automatically users reduces, your CPU and memory also will reduce. Having that in account, like whenever a memory is reduced to like, let's say overall memory is 60%, then it will remove two of the servers from group. Like it will be terminating the group, terminating the instances. So in that way, again, the scaled up instances will come down, like scale down one by one. So it will be coming down like 9, 8, 7, 6. So it will again come to like the minimum value of 1 or 2, how much ever you want to run. So this can be followed in not only for particular sales. Say, let's say you have application running for a development team, and the development team is going to work like Monday to Friday, morning 9 a.m. to evening 6 p.m. And other time, let's say Saturday and Sunday and non-business hours, the instance are not going to be used. So you don't need that many instances. So you can use this option, this auto scaling feature in EC2 service to scale up and down the instances accordingly. So you don't have to worry about like billing as the instance or like scaled up and scaled up. The billing also like billing for your AWS instance or resources also like accordingly is calculated to your account. So Saturday and Sunday, like whole number of instances, let's say There are like 10 instances normally when in a business servers, and you don't need that much, only 2 instances will do now. If you can shut down the 8 instances with auto scaling configuration. So in that way you can like you can save a lot and price in pricing world as well. So this is for compute, and we can see about like next storage and database in